Welcome viewers. When does protecting one legal right begin to reshape another? Legal claims have changed women's spaces. Across Australia, disputes involving women's only spaces have moved from public debate into courtrooms, tribunals and human rights commissions at the expense of biological women, their businesses, their platforms. Supporters argue these legal actions enforce equality protections. And by law they do, unfortunately. Critics argue they're placing growing legal and financial pressure on women-only organisations, small businesses and community spaces. And here I examine that debate and ask whether the balance between competing rights has fundamentally changed into what could be a developing cash grab.
Feels like deja vu to us. Another women's-only space is being punished for not welcoming a transgender person. A pole dancing studio has come under attack for not letting a biological male become a member. They're called Queens of Pole on the Gold Coast, and they're now being sued for $30,000 in damages. It follows an incident in February when a transgender person attended a free trial and they disclosed midway through that they were biological male. That's despite the website clearly stating it's a female-only environment. A staff member says once others found out, it shifted the vibe. They said some women became visibly uncertain. And following the class, the individual attempted to apply for membership, stating they were female. Gnomes, the studio owner, sent an email saying, "We're unable to accommodate the trans community at this time." The individual has now lodged a complaint with the Queensland Human Rights Commission. Gnomes is being sued for $30,000. She joins us on the line right now. Hi, Gnomes.
Hi, Ben. How you going?
Good. How's Queens of Pole going?
Oh, well, we're doing as best as we can given the current circumstances, but we're trying to proceed business as usual and just show that our community is as important and as supportive as it always has been.
You'd have a lazy 30 grand lying around that you could share with someone, don't you?
Oh, wouldn't every small business owner?
Tell me what happened in February when this person came into the trial class.
Look, as you mentioned before, I was blissfully unaware. I was enjoying a family holiday on the Sunshine Coast when all of this went down. So I had a staff member. We offer free trial classes. They're a 30-minute little snippet. I had a full class of new members to the space, to pole dancing, including a mother and daughter team in that group. And my complainant came along, enjoyed their free class, and openly disclosed halfway through the class they identified as a woman, which, as you mentioned, it does shift the dynamics a little bit. And then it was radio silence for about 30 days until they tried to set up a membership to join the studio, and that's when communication opened between my complainant and myself. It was only one shared email where I did explain we were unable to accommodate the trans community, and then, 2 days later, it was in with QHRC, and now it's off to QCAP.
Viewers, is this a cash grab? This episode explores a provocative question. Have legal disputes surrounding women-only spaces created incentives that extend beyond protecting equal rights and into costly legal conflict? I'll be honest with you, if I was a trans person and I was seeing these sorts of amounts of money flying around at the expense of biological women and at the opportunity of myself just by being rejected, I'd be tempted to try and cash in on some of it myself. Am I suggesting that's what's happening? Well, who really knows? Nobody seems to know what a man or a woman is anymore. So motive is completely rejected. Using a fictional narrative could be easy with all of this, but it's real. Inspired by contemporary public debates, I examined the intersection of anti-discrimination law, litigation, women-only environments, small business, and the increasing financial burden of defending female-only policies. The laws are against biological women because they've given parallel equality with transgender people. Now, it all started off innocent, but as this goes on and biological women try and protect themselves because the law has abandoned them, I believe the transgender people are starting to see dollar signs. Supporters of the current legal framework argue these laws protect people from unlawful discrimination and ensure equal treatment. Critics contend that repeated complaints, tribunal proceedings and litigation have imposed legal costs and uncertainty on women-only organisations, discouraging some from maintaining the very environments they were created to provide. For those critics, the concern is no longer simply the outcome of individual cases. It's whether the cumulative effect of repeated legal challenges has fundamentally challenged the ability of women to establish, preserve and operate spaces intended exclusively for biological women. Well, it's obvious they can't. As soon as a transgender person gets access to these spaces and then's asked to leave, the dollar signs appear. Despite the rejection and the feelings and all this other stuff, it's a cash grab. The debate therefore moves beyond any complaint and into broader questions of law, privacy, freedom and association, public policy and competing rights. But to me, it seems that the transgender people are winning out.
And just explain, why is your business a female-only environment?
Look, it wasn't created to exclude people. Queen's was created to provide a dedicated space for females who choose to train in a female-only environment. Over the years, I've seen countless members walk through our doors carrying anxiety and low confidence and trauma and fear of judgment, or simply some of them who just want a desire to exercise alongside other females. And watching those same members grow stronger physically and emotionally, it's honestly been one of the greatest privileges of my career.
I mean, it's not unusual. We do have female-only gyms.
We do, and there is a process that you can go through to try and become one of those, female-only spaces or males-only spaces that do have exemptions. But the rules around getting those exemptions just make it almost complete waste of time because, as we've seen from the Lesbian Action Group, they tried and they were denied. Where do we stand if you're going to offer this as a potential for a small business, but you're actually never going to grant it?
Are you stressed?
Yes, I have a small business. I have a young family. There's a lot weighing in on this. Just, blissfully unaware that I needed an exemption to run my business. I've been running my business for 9 years, and at no point did anyone I'd ever worked with ever say to me, you need an exemption. You're not allowed to run the business that you are. This needs to change. And I guess maybe that's what's influenced all the other studios on the Gold Coast to now accept women identifying, or all genders. We're the last one left on the Gold Coast that females can come to for this type of environment.
Yeah, I mean, considering the nature of what happens when you're pole dancing, I mean, it's the kind of thing you want to be doing in an environment where you feel like you're really secure and you don't have men looking at you, right?
Exactly. And I mean, it's obviously pole dancing and pole fitness, it comes with that bit of the stigma and that kind of mentality. And we're not naive to that, but we're actually just big goofballs. We just want to have a space where we can be ourselves, let our hair down, be silly, sweat it out, celebrate our wins, get emotional in our lows as well. Like, we're females, we ride that emotional roller coaster. And if you're in a space that you don't feel 100% comfortable, then you hold all of that back. These women, they've created lifelong friendships. The ones that started with me 9 years ago are still friends now, and they've moved on. They've gotten married and they've had their babies, and they still get together at Christmas time.
Hey, one of my listeners is saying right now on the text line, if you set up a GoFundMe page for your legal fight, they'll be contributing some money.
Oh, that would be amazing. I mean, I have spoken to Sal previously, and she's just been a shining light through all of this. She's had some direction and some advice, and we are considering a GoFundMe page just to help fund the legal aspect, because when you run a business, and you run a small business especially, you don't have the resources to challenge this. This is a scary thing to consider. Well,
we'll be cheering you on, and when you mention Sal, that's Sal Grover, who's been involved in that Giggle versus Tickle case. Let's stay in touch, Gnomes, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much, Ben. Have a lovely Friday.
Same to you, and if you do start one of those fundraising pages, she'll let us know, and we'll let you know.
Viewers, I've tried to present a commentary and social analysis intended to stimulate discussion about this equality law, women's only spaces, and the practical consequences of competing legal rights. Women who go to court opposing transgender entry into their spaces will lose. because it's law. It's written in the law. So how else are you going to deal with this? Well, you're not. You will lose. The central question is no longer whether rights exist. It's how competing rights should be balanced when they collide. Well, the balance is falling to the transgender people. As these debates continue through legislatures, tribunals and courts, one question remains. Has the law simply expanded equality, or has it also changed the practical cost of preserving women-only spaces? The cost now to protect female-only spaces is not achievable. It is not sustainable. And this is the paralysis. This is how transgender parallelism has now become such a standover. I believe, even if I was trans and I was seeing this kind of money getting thrown around just by being rejected, to be honest, I'd be signing up for my tens of thousands. No question about it.